Scrolling down the page, we'll notice that the response section of the discussion boards has also been redesigned. The new and improved response threads have a more modern appearance, resembling more of a social media feed. The content within each response hasn't changed much, but there are new features within the discussion board that students can utilize, as well as features that make navigation easier for us all. Looking at a response, you'll still see the same identifiers, a profile picture, the name, and the date for the post, but now the time of the initial post is also recorded, as well as the time and date of the most recent reply. By clicking reply, the same rich content editor will open, this time with some more text features that students can use to engage with each other. Students can now mention each other, which functions similarly to the tagging feature on social media platforms. By typing the @ symbol in the rich content editor, a box of names will appear, and students can either select one of the names that appear or can begin typing a name inside of the box and mention a user by clicking on the name in the box. A mentioned name will appear as a highlighted blue name, and the mentioned user will be notified of the mention. Students will now also have the option to quote other users' responses within their own post. By hovering over the replies setting menu and selecting quote reply, students can now quote the reply within their own message to provide further engagement with their classmates. You can toggle whether you would like to include the quoted reply in your message or not. And this appears as a quoted message. Going back up to the 3 buttons that I mentioned earlier, each button changes the navigation of our discussion boards. Threads, by default, will appear from newest reply to oldest reply. And it's worth noting that this sorting refers to the individual replies and not necessarily the newest thread or initial post. In other words, where you see last reply, it will be sorted by that. If we scroll back up to the top and click the sort button, after the page reloads, if you scroll down, you will notice that it is now sorted by the oldest last reply. And you can return to the default by clicking sort again. The expand threads button here will toggle between showing every reply to every thread or collapsing them to just their initial posts. By default, all threads are collapsed. In other words, you would need to click the replies in order to see the replies. By clicking the expand threads button, we will see that all threads are now expanded to show every reply that has been made to each individual thread. And we can scroll back up and click the button again to collapse them all into the default view once more. The final button, the View Split Screen button, will toggle between 2 different views for threads. The default being Inline view, which means each thread will be presented as stacked and will go from one thread to another. Meaning if I click on the replies, all of them are in line, and you can scroll straight to the next thread as well. By clicking this button, the split screen button, a new split screen view is available, in which if I click the replies here, a new window pops out that shows you that specific thread that you are looking at. One thing worth noting for instructors and students is that if you click the reply button and you begin typing and you click out of the thread page, the window will close and may potentially take your response with it. Thankfully, within the thread option, if you click reply, you can find auto-saved content that may save your response. You can click the arrow to preview the response and then choose to repost it. The autosave should work every time, but just in case it doesn't, I think it's worth noting that you don't want to click out of this window until you're done typing. Once you finish replying, you can click out of the window and close that thread, and you can open another one and it'll show the next thread. You can change back to inline by clicking the View Inline button again, And this just gives you a little bit more personalization to choose a view that you feel fits your needs better.